Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to show you how to download and install the updated and newer version of VirtualBox used for running your own virtual machines. Virtual machines are effectively a computer within a computer. It uses the virtualization technology of the hardware in your computer system, so long as it's enabled in the BIOS, to effectively run a separate system as though it is a separate computer on the same system. So that's where you get the computer within the computer thing. So first thing you're going to want to do is go to VirtualBox, download it. I'll provide the link in the details. Version 5.0.10 is now capable of supporting Windows 10. So you can make your own Windows 10 systems. It supports the newer operating systems and a lot of the older ones. And you can actually build up your own systems for experimentation or laboratory purposes. Just to play around with it, see if you actually like it or not before you go do a full purchase on it. It's pretty versatile. I mean, even if you want to run a Linux system in a Windows machine, I in general prefer Linux, but most of my games and stuff prefer Windows, so I run Windows as my primary OS on my gaming system, and then I run Linux as a secondary in a VM. I have two different VM softwares. I have VMware and VirtualBox. VMware you have to pay for. VirtualBox is 100% free. So once it downloads, this is Google Chrome. Once it downloads, it just drops the little download icons down here at the bottom, the little tabs, and all you have to do is click on them, start the install. If you're using Firefox or Internet Explorer, you'll have to either click Run in IE or find the downloads folder and run them from there in Firefox. The installer is actually pretty simple. There's really not a whole lot to it. And you'll also want to download the extension pack because that gives you your USB support for USB 3 and 2. Okay, and once you get the VirtualBox here, the easiest thing to do is just, well, first you're going to click Next. Then the easiest thing to do here is hit the drop down, go to Entire Feature will be installed. It'll install everything you need. Click Next, and then you can leave all those exactly how they are. If you don't want the icons in the desktop or on the quick launch bar, just deselect both of those. It won't be there. For the most part, you're probably going to want them on there if you're going to use it quite a bit. Hit Next, and then now you have your network interface. It says proceed with installation now. Just hit yes, click install. You might get a few pop-ups asking you if you're sure you want to install the driver. If you haven't already installed it at one point in time, that's fine. Just go ahead and hit yes, let it install the drivers. There's nothing dangerous about them. All they are is for the virtual networking interface. That way your VMs have network connection. If you get the user account control, just hit yes. This takes a little longer on my machine because I already had VirtualBox installed on here. It was an older version of 5. There's the install for the USB. There should be another one come up for the network. And there's the one for the network adapter. Install. I don't want to start it just yet, so deselect that. If you're going to install the extension pack, which I highly recommend, you're going to want to deselect that anyway, and then hit finish. Then all you got to do is come over and click the one for the installer pack. It'll actually start virtual machine and then start the installation. And then all you have to do, if you already have it on here, is hit upgrade. See, an older version of the extension pack is already installed. Would you like to upgrade? If you don't already have it, it'll actually just pop up and ask you if you want to do the install, in which you just hit next and everything. Scroll it all the way down on the right side, click I agree. User account control is going to pop up, just click yes, and then it installs the extension pack. Alright, and once the actual update finishes on installing the extension pack, it'll just come up and say the extension pack has been, Oracle VirtualBox extension pack was successfully installed. Just click OK. And from here, all you have to do now is create your VMs. So to create the VM, just click New. And of course, you can put in the name of whatever you want to. I'm actually just going to create a very quick, simple Windows XP machine. So I've named it. I've got what it is, what version it's going to be. This is going to be the 32-bit version of Windows XP. And I'm going to go ahead and set it to the maximum amount of RAM that it is capable of. As you can see, I have 32 gig in here, so 4 gig really is no biggie. Click Next. And then from here, you can either create a virtual machine or create a virtual hard drive, which you can actually use the VMware virtual drives. You can use the Oracle VirtualBox virtual drives. There's a lot of different options. I personally would stick with the VirtualBox virtual drives. I'm going to go ahead and create the hard drive now. And see right here you have the VDI, which is the VirtualBox disk image. You have VMDK, which is for virtual machine. That's VM. You have VHD, virtual hard disk. VM can use the VHDs as well. You have HDD, which is a parallel hard disk, which is an actual physical hard drive. And then you have the QED, which is QM enhanced disk. And then you have the COW, which is QM copy on write. I would stick with the VDI myself. Hit Next. You can dynamically allocate the drive space as it fills up. And we're going to go to, I'm just going to manually type it in here. I'm actually wanting a 120 gig drive. Create. And now we have our actual VM. So I'm going to go to the settings here. You can set up encryption if you want to have the the VM itself encrypted. Under System, you can actually select some more options. You can enable EFI to emulate the UEFI systems. I would only use that for newer operating systems. The mouse, you can set it however you want to. Generally, the USB tablet works just fine. The processor, this is where you can actually set the number of cores and number of CPUs. Windows XP, for the most part, really doesn't deal well with multi-cores. It wasn't really written for multi-cores. So I'm actually going to leave it with a single core. However, if this was a newer VM for Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 8, any of the newer Linux OSs, or even the newer FreeBSD Unix OS, I would actually tell it to use 2 cores. But in this case, I'm going to leave it alone because, like I said, it's really not designed for multi-cores. It's just going to be a single core VM. Here's where you can set the video memory. I'm going to go ahead and give it the maximum allowed and give it 3D acceleration. Windows XP will actually use that 128 with the 3D acceleration for 3D graphics capability. So it is very, very handy to have that set up. Storage, you can come here and create a secondary drive or leave it exactly how it is. You can also mount a disk image for the install. I will end up doing that later for the install of XP on this particular VM. This is going to be my gaming VM for my older games that doesn't really like Windows 7, like the first run of Diablo, the first Resident Evil game, lots of different things like that. So it's going to be my older game system. And then of course you can come down here to audio. You can change this to whatever you want. You can use the ICH AC97 or the Sound Blaster 16 Intel HD audio. I'm going to go with the Intel HD audio. ICH AC97 works good. I have an actual HD sound card in here, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the Intel HD audio. It doesn't actually use it as though it's an Intel HD. It emulates that Intel HD audio to switch over to your system. And network, you generally want to leave this on NAT. You could go through all the trouble of setting it up. You can set it up as a bridge, however you want to do it. NAT works just fine. So if you leave it on that, you're going to have a whole lot less trouble and a lot less configuration that you have to worry about. And the NAT, for the most part, is compatible with most everything. I'm going to go ahead and leave that on the USB 2. Most devices are USB 2. There's still not a massive amount of USB 3 stuff out there, but there is some. Once you get done with all that, just click OK. And you have successfully completely configured your VM, and it's actually ready to be started. This information's out there for absolutely everybody. As always, watch, like, and share. Have a great day.